Good news, it's finally here. Yes, the MG4 is now in New Zealand, and look at it! What a great looking machine! Honestly, when I first saw it, my heart did a little flutter, which could actually be cholesterol. But regardless, this car is going to be a big deal because after the rebate, the entry-level version clocks in at under 40 grand and does 350 k's per charge. What a deal for such a good-looking car! This, however, well, this is a step up. This is the Essence 64 model. It has a few more gadgets. It also has a bigger battery, and it will set you back 48 grand after the rebate, and for that you get 435 k's per charge. But take a good look at this machine, because very soon you're going to see that thing everywhere. And we are off, and boy do I have a lot to cram into today's video. Everything from handling to gadgets to acceleration. Even the famous water test is making a comeback in this video. Yes, it's all happening. Stay tuned. Right now though, let's talk design. And although I'm not a qualified MGologist, I can already see this design is streets ahead of the MG ZS EV. I mean, look at it. Look at this central display, 10.25 inch display. It fits right in. It looks great. It looks like it's supposed to be there. It matches the width of the vents. Also, look at this drive selector section that sort of juts out just the right amount, not too much. It's sort of Star Trek shuttlecrafty, all really, really well designed. Then there's the steering wheel. I mean, look at this. It's a great size, great design, loaded with gadgets, and the bottom of it is really flat. So if you are blessed with girthy thighs, then you'll slide straight into this car effortlessly. And look how much the steering wheel moves. It goes up and down, in and out, all day long. And the improvements aren't just visual. Look, the fit and finish physically is brilliant. No creaks, no rattles, the door handles feel solid, nothing flops around, including the center console. In the early MG ZS EV that I first reviewed, that thing flopped around more than me playing soccer. But now look at it. Let's talk comfort now, and of course it has seated heats in both the front seats. Both are adjustable. The driver's side is electronically adjustable. The passenger side isn't, however, it's manually adjustable. But the seating height in both is great. Because the vehicle's a little bit higher off the ground than the average hatchback, it means you've got a great commanding view of the road. It's also not obscured by big, thick A-pillars. The A-pillars in this aren't too big, and the rear view mirror doesn't hang down too much. It's not blocking your view like a lot of European cars do. Also, what I really love about this is that even though it's the highest spec model, it has cloth seats, not fake leather. And I love this because on a piping hot day, I don't want my delicate pasty thighs to be touching searing vinyl. Nope, I prefer touching cloth. Let's talk driving modes now, and this has more than the usual. Yeah, sure, you've got your usual eco, you've got your normal, you've got your sport, but this car also has custom, so you can adjust it to suit your driving style. And it even has snow, which is handy in colder parts of New Zealand, or if you're just driving across my cold dead heart. Of course, the car also has 3 different levels of regen braking. You've got 1, which is light, 2, which is medium, 3 is the strongest, or just press A and it stays in auto. And of course, both the regen braking and the driving modes can be adjusted by using these programmable buttons on the steering wheel. I love this because you can program them to be whatever you want them to be. And if you want to go one step further, this car also has one pedal driving, so you can do most of your city driving without touching the brake. Let me turn that on and see, I'm now, look at this, I'm stopping without touching the brake. That is wicked. See, I saw some reviewers say that the one pedal driving is not very strong, but it seems fine to me. And another thing I like about the MG4's interior design is this instrument cluster in front of me. Yes, that's not a new thing, but this one, it's got just the right amount of info and it's just the right size to tell you everything you need to know. It's got your battery state of charge, it's got your range, it's got your speed, it's got who's in the lane next to you, it's got your driving modes, nothing else, just the important stuff. And because of its location, you can have your steering wheel down quite low without losing the top of the screen. I really like that. And because it's quite girthy and 7 inches, it's more than big enough to do the job. But before this turns into an advertisement for the car, I found a list of things I don't like about the MG4. After driving the car for a while, I found some things I'm not thrilled with. For example, right now I'm stuck behind a smelly old smoky diesel, and the voice recognition is not doing what I want it to do.
Hi, how can I help?
Recirculate air.
Sorry, but I still didn't get that.
In MG's defense, I'm yet to be in one single new car that recognizes that voice command, which should be essential because it means now I have to take my eyes off the road. And while I'm whinging, there are some other things I'm not thrilled about in the MG4. For example, this is a weird one, but the indicator stalk is just a little further away than I would like. I have to actually change my hand a little bit in order to hit the indicator. Another thing is that while yes, the car does have Android, Apple and CarPlay Auto, which is great, it is still cabled, and I think they've done that to cut costs, because let's be honest, it is a really affordable car. Next complaint on my list is that if you pop the bonnet on this car and have a look, there's no space whatsoever for charging cables or a small suitcase or something, which is strange because if you look underneath the plastic cover on top of the engine bay, there's absolutely nothing there. There's enough room for a carry-on suitcase under there. My next little complaint is turning the car off. You have to actually go into a couple of menus and press an off button to turn the car off. Now I'm hoping that will soon be fixed with an over-the-air software update. Don't panic though, because you can shut the car down just by getting out and locking the doors. And my last complaint is the facilities in the back are pretty sparse. You've only got one USB-A point to share between everyone back there. There's no fold-down armrest either, it's just a flat piece of back seat. And of course the back seat trim is pretty Spartan. The doors have got hard black plastic on them. But hey, it's your kids in the back, right? They're freeloaders, they can't complain. Which brings me to some family-friendly information. Starting with the back seat, which is 129 centimeters wide and has 2 ISOFIX points hidden behind handy Velcro strips. The boot itself is 363 litres in capacity, and with the rear seats down, it swells to almost 1,200 litres. And while not quite big enough for most adults to go camping back there, there is 163 centimetres between the front seats and the rear lip. It's also got a bird's eye view camera for safe reversing with kids around. It's got a Euro NCAP 5-star safety rating, so it's tough as nails. And as an optional extra, you can use a vehicle to load adapter to power your appliances. Now these are available to buy right now. MG's ordered in a huge shipment, so there's no shortage, and it's much cheaper than buying a generator for the next climate-related disaster. As for towing, at this moment the MG4 has no assigned tow rating, but we have much more to test yet, so let's hit the highway. I am flying down the motorway at Auckland speed right now, but I have adaptive cruise control going and lane keeping assist, so the car is basically driving itself. Can you imagine this technology, showing it to someone 20 years ago in such an affordable vehicle? It is breathtaking. As for the smoothness of the system, well, you get what you pay for. It's not a Model S. It's not a high-end BMW. It's built to a price point, and the lane keeping assist and the adaptive cruise suffers a little. That being said, it's still very usable, and it takes the agony out of Auckland traffic, and that's why you use it. Oh, crikey. Oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm not doing that. The car's doing that. Oh, okay, I'm going to turn that off. A bit of excitement. Alright, as for some tech specs, let me tell you about the battery. It has a 64 kilowatt hour battery, which is why it can do 435 k's per charge according to the WLTP cycle, so probably more like 380 the way I drive. It uses an NMC chemistry, so it's fairly efficient and it keeps the weight down. Total weight of this car is 1.72 tons. However, what's really interesting about this machine is that it uses MG's modular scalable platform, basically like a skateboard on wheels of batteries and motors. That means that you can change the body of the car and keep the same modular scalable platform. Makes the whole process of making electric cars much, much more affordable. And what's also interesting about the modular scalable platform is that the battery pack they use is actually quite short. They managed to squash it down in height. And to give you an idea visually of what that is, I typed in 4.3 inches into Google, and eventually I got this. Yes, a Coke can. The battery pack itself is actually shorter than a Coke can. And what's also interesting about the modular scalable platform is that theoretically, it's designed with battery swapping in mind. Could we ever see a swapping station for MG4s? It's theoretically possible. As for motor output, all MG4s available in New Zealand right now are rear-wheel drive, which I like. This particular one has a 150 kilowatt motor with 250 newton meters of torque. So it's fairly peppy, but what does that translate into in terms of 0 to 100 time, and how fun is it in the country corners? Let's find out. All right, we've found an empty slice of country road. Time for a 0 to 100 test. The official time is 7.7 seconds. Let's see how close we can get to that. It's in sport mode. Does it have launch control? Nope. All right, 3, 2, 1. Gosh, it moves well. Can't believe this is a family car. Boom, there we go. All right, but we're very close to my top secret driving road. It would be a crime not to throw this family car into some twisty country corners. And here are the corners, and this should be fun, because this thing weighs 1.7 tons, which is about the same as the BYD Atto 3 long range, but about 100 kilos heavier than the Tesla Model 3, the single motor version, which should make it interesting because this, like the Tesla, has a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, and like the Atto 3, this has independent rear suspension, which is something the ZS EV never had. What this thing also has going for it is a really, really long wheelbase. For a hatchback, it has a 2.7 meter long wheelbase, and one of the unsung heroes of a long wheelbase is that by the time the front wheels hit a bump, the suspension has enough time to absorb the inertia before the rear wheels hit that same bump, so it just results in a much more stable, secure feeling vehicle. It means it's much more fun. Oh, I love that torque. Honestly, for a family car, this is brilliant. Oh, I love that rear wheel drive as well. You feel like you're being pushed off rather than pulled off. It's just a great feeling. Slam the brakes on. Oh, that weight distribution's great. Oh, this handle's great. Honestly, this is a great compromise, and I mean compromise in a positive sense. It's really comfortable on the city streets, but oh yeah, it just goes on the corners. And I've had a mixed bag of electric cars to review on the corners. There are some vehicles which feel a little bit bloated and overweight for their small size, like the Peugeot E208. Then there are other cars that feel really, really hard, like the Tesla Model Y Performance, which jars your bones to pieces. And then there's cars like this, which are a great combo, great compromise between city and country driving. Just brilliant. Okay, let's be honest though, it's not a Porsche Taycan, right? It is a family car designed with comfort in mind. But in terms of a family car, it's excellent. This is fun, and I could do this all day long, but I do have some car review stuff to take care of. Speaking of which, I'd like to do a comparison video between this, the MG4, and the BYD Atto 3, or perhaps, if you want, the Tesla Model Y, to see which is the overall best car in terms of bang for buck, performance, gadgetry, you name it. If that is something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments, and while you're there, hit the like and the subscribe button so that when I do actually make the video, you will get to see it in your feed. But right now, I want to look at exterior design and then ride comfort. And let's talk about that exterior styling, and I love it. I mean, look how decisive it is, how pointy it is. Although, to be fair, in an accident, that front-mounted camera, that's going to be the first thing to go. Plus, on the Essence 64 model, this one, you get 18-inch wheels, which is fantastic. But I only realized yesterday that these are plastic wheel covers. Still, on the entry-level version, you only get 17-inch wheels, but it doesn't matter because look at the design cues. Look at that indentation on the door. I love it. Look at the rear lights, how divisive and decisive they are. Plus, on this model, you also get a split rear spoiler. Don't know how much it does for aerodynamics, but it looks amazing. So now that we know this thing looks fantastic, it drives fantastic, but how well does it hold its water? Yes, it's time for the water test, and recently I filled a cup of water to the brim and drove around the block in my 1977 Austin Allegro with its stupidly soft hydrogas suspension system to see how much water I'd lose. The Allegro fared well with minimal spillage, but how will the MG4 cope with its much firmer suspension? Here we go. Ooh, that is filled up. Okay, glass is full, off we go. Ooh, that was good. Not a single drop. Not bad. Okay, this. Oh, we've got some droplets already. Oh, okay, maybe the suspension is a bit firmer than that in the Allegro. I should point out, it's not the softest suspension in the world. It's got a bit of rigidity to it, but it doesn't jar your bones like that in a Tesla Model 3, for example. Overall, it's pretty good. Oh, a lot of potholes here. We've lost some droplets. Overall, it's not doing too bad. I would like to try this test in a Tesla. Third corner, slowing down. Oh, don't slow down too much. We lost some water. Oh, good Lord. Oh, we're losing a lot more than I thought we would. It's not until you do the water test you realize actually this is quite firm suspension. Not uncomfortable. Let's decelerate slowly into the final stop, the final bump on the driveway. Easy, 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 easy. Not too bad. And there you have it. The water test. We haven't actually lost too much. Not bad at all. Well done, MG. Almost on par with the Austin Allegro. And with that test complete and the MG4 narrowly beating its older British Leyland cousin, it's time to see how fast this car can charge. Let's talk charging now, and if you're new to electric cars and it might sound kind of daunting, it's not, don't worry. You've got three main ways to charge the car. You can use the granny charger that comes with it, but this is glacial. Honestly, you're looking at about 2 days for a full charge with this method. That's why I recommend this. This is an Evnex E2 charger. It can pump out 7 kilowatts, which means it can charge your your MG4 from flat to full overnight at a total cost of about $11. Seriously, this is a great bit of kit. It's designed and built right here in New Zealand. It's super programmable, super easy to use, and I made a video showing the installation of this particular charger. I also asked the electrician a lot of really dumb questions, and then I showed how easy it is to actually use the app to start the charging, to remotely stop the charging, all that stuff you can do using the mobile app. Check that video out. I'll put a link in the description underneath this one, but seriously, this is unbeatable in terms of charging. 85% of all electric car owners in New Zealand charge at home because it's just so cheap, especially if you're on the Eco-Saver plan like I am with Ecotricity. And here comes the plug. Ecotricity is a power company that makes these videos possible, and what makes Ecotricity different is that all the electricity they provide to houses like yours is climate positive. Yes, it sounds too good to be true. An electricity provider that provides climate positive electricity, but it's true and it's Toitū certified, so you know it's the real deal. Honestly, head over to ecotricity.co.nz, chuck your details in, see how much money you can save and how much carbon you can save by switching to climate positive electricity. Plus, it's super affordable because all the electricity Ecotricity make is only climate positive. It's wind, hydro and solar. No gas, no coal, no dirty old-fashioned stuff, just clean stuff. It's real, it's here, it's now. ecotricity.co.nz. But let's say you are on a road trip and want to do more than 400 k's a day. Well, don't worry, there's a really faster option. And that faster option is DC rapid charging, like this 50 kilowatt unit, which can charge the car from 20% to 80% in about 45 minutes. Or, because this long-range MG4 can charge it up to 135 kilowatts, if you used a hyper rapid charger like one of these, then you're looking at a charge time of about 25 minutes. So if you're getting an electric car, sign up with ChargeNet. They've got New Zealand's biggest rapid charging network with hundreds of chargers, and they're doubling that amount within 3 years. So there you have it. That is the essentials covered for the MG4 Essence 64. So let's crack into the Spudscore, starting with performance, and it gets 6 out of 10 spuds. It's quick for a family car, but it took 3 goes to get the 0 to 100 time under 8 seconds. Next is handling, and I'm giving it 7 out of 10. Considering it's a taller, heavier family car, it handles surprisingly well. Comfort is next, and while rear seat height is on the shorter side, overall the car feels very spacious and it rides great. 7 out of 10 spuds there. Efficiency is next, and it gets a healthy 6 out of 10 with your real world range likely to be around 380 k's per charge on this model. As for gadgetry, it scores an easy 7 out of 10. This car has everything the typical motorist could want. I mean, it's got its own map system built in, it's got neat little holes to hide your cabling when running Android Apple, it's got seated heats and a heated steering wheel, the driver's seat's electronically adjustable. What more could you want? It's got it all. What about value though? Well, you know it's going to do well here. It gets a very rare 9 out of 10 spuds because at this moment there's no other clean car on the market that offers this level of everything for under 48k. Charging is next with 8 out of 10 spuds because most EVs near this car's price point charge much slower, so 300 kilometers charged in just 25 minutes is excellent. Honestly, we've come a long way with electric cars in a short time. As for style, easily 9 out of 10. I mean, do you remember affordable electric cars barely 10 years ago, like this one that I used to own? They were all made to be kind of weird looking for some reason, but with cars like the MG4, those days are finally gone. Is it fit for purpose though? Well, as a family car, yes. It's got hard-wearing surfaces, it's got lots of gadgets, it's got room for the kids with nice long warranties on both the battery and the moving bits. It's no slouch. Its charging speed is great for road trips. I mean, what more could you want in a family car? I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Last but not least is PSC, and it gets 6 out of 10, holding a very respectable 48 tubers in its smartly designed dashboard, which gives the car a total spud score of 74. Now that is a very high spud score for what is possibly my new favorite EV. Well, until I get my hands on the entry-level model, so hit the subscribe button as not to miss that video. So if you're in the market for a new electric car, I can't see why this wouldn't be it. I mean, the styling is fantastic. Best looking MG I've seen in years. The range is excellent. The gadgets, it's just loaded with them. I think this car's going to be a real sales success.